They knew her face. They knew her clothes. They certainly knew the scent. But no one knew the number, F-7124. This is not a story about fashion. It's a story about treason, obsession, and the ultimate financial betrayal. In occupied Paris, during the darkest days of World War II, Coco Chanel was granted privileges few French citizens could dream of. Why was the world's most famous designer living in the luxurious Ritz Hotel with a high-ranking German officer? And why did she receive a secret assignment directly from the Gestapo? She made a deal with the enemy. A ruthless transaction to seize control of her billion-dollar empire from her own partners. This is the truth behind the perfume. This is the untold, dark history of Agent F-7124. The woman who defined 20th century elegance was born Gabrielle Chanel in 1883, starting life far from the gilded cages of high society. She grew up small, lonely, and fiercely independent in the bleak confines of an orphanage. This early poverty fueled a lifelong, burning obsession, never to be poor again. Her initial talent was simple, sewing. She learned the meticulous craft of the needle, but she hated the fussy, restrictive fashions of the Victorian era, the corsets, the feathers, the excess. Chanel realized fashion was a cage for women, and she offered them escape. Her early financial backing came from wealthy lovers, most notably the charismatic boy Capel, who saw the diamond in the rough and gave her the necessary capital to open her first hat shop. This shop wasn't just selling hats, it was selling an ideology of liberation, simplicity, and ease. She championed the color black, turning it from a color of mourning into the ultimate statement of chic. The iconic Chanel suit was a declaration of independence, a revolutionary uniform for the new, modern woman who rejected the past. Chanel's biggest creation was not a dress, but a scent, Chanel No. 5. This perfume, abstract, complex, and revolutionary, quickly became a global sensation, generating astronomical profits. But the ultimate irony of her career was that she did not own the scent that made her famous. Chanel lacked the capital and distribution network to produce and market the perfume globally. In 1924, she signed a contract with the powerful Wertheimer family, who owned the huge department store, Bourgeois. They formed the Parfums Chanel Corporation. The deal was devastatingly simple for Chanel. She received just 10% of the profits, while the Wertheimers handled all production, marketing, and distribution, keeping 90% of the massive revenue. For years, Chanel battled her former partners, desperately trying to regain control of her name and profits. She felt cheated, robbed of the financial rewards of her own creative genius. This financial feud became her defining obsession, a legal and personal war that would eventually lead her to commit treason. The war against the Wertheimers became her personal war, a financial vendetta that outweighed all morality. The opportunity Chanel had been waiting for arrived with the most devastating event of the 20th century, the Nazi occupation of France in 1940. Chanel, who had already closed her fashion house, quickly took up residence in the luxurious Ritz Hotel in Paris, which had become the unofficial headquarters for the German High Command. She immediately began a relationship with Baron Hans Gunther von Dinklage, a senior Gestapo operative. This was not a romance of convenience, it was a cold, calculated business strategy. Chanel, now leveraging her high-ranking Nazi connections, saw a chance to finally seize total control of Parfums Chanel from the Wertheimers, who were Jewish and had fled the country to the United States. She filed an application with the Nazi administration to have the Wertheimers' assets declared abandoned Jewish property. The ultimate treason came when she was officially recruited by the WWII, German military intelligence, and given the codename Agent F-7124. Her mission, codenamed Operation Modelhut, model hat, was to travel to Spain and attempt to use her connections with Winston Churchill through Boy Capel's previous relationships to negotiate a secret, separate peace treaty between Britain and Germany. She was a spy, not for ideology, but for financial gain, a bid for absolute corporate ownership. The operation failed, but the dossier proving her collaboration remains a permanent, dark stain on the history of luxury. After the liberation of Paris in 1944, Chanel was briefly arrested, but quickly released due to the intervention of powerful friends, including the British Crown. Her collaboration was buried. The Wertheimers, aware of her wartime schemes, quickly resolved the legal fight in the United States, allowing her to sell 2 new perfumes under her own name in exchange for a guaranteed supply of No. 5 profits. Her return to fashion in the 1950s was financed almost entirely by the very Wertheimer family she had tried to betray. Why did they finance her comeback? Because Chanel's image was the true value. The Wertheimers understood that the myth of Chanel was worth more than any wartime spite. They preserved the brand, and today, the Wertheimer family remains the primary owner of the Chanel empire, a chilling final irony. The legacy of Coco Chanel is one of duality, the visionary who liberated women's fashion and the corporate operative who collaborated with the entity for profit. The immense financial success of the modern house of Chanel is a permanent testament to the ruthless calculation that occurred inside the Ritz during the occupation. It proves that in a world of ultimate luxury and global finance, loyalty is a myth, and the pursuit of absolute ownership knows no more